Before I get started with this story, let me give a shout out to Trill, Texas for sending this to me. And this story is coming out of Florida. Yet again, we are back in Florida. And in this picture, you see a woman by the name of Brianna Williams. And she is or was at this point in the Navy. And she committed a very heinous crime against her own daughter. And this woman pled guilty for committing murder against her of her daughter. Crazy. That's just insane. But the details are even worse, and I'm about to get into that right now. Brianna Williams, the Florida mother who sobbed uncontrollably when she reported her 5-year-old daughter missing in 2019, has pled guilty in the girl's brutal death. On Thursday, former Naval Petty Officer First Class Brianna Williams pled guilty to second-degree murder in the death of her daughter Taylor Rose Williams. She had originally been charged with aggravated child abuse, 2 counts of child neglect, lying to police, and tampering with evidence. She had not been charged with murder before Thursday. Authorities said Williams had tortured, maliciously punished, or caged Taylor in the 6 months before she went missing. The apartment of Brianna Williams was thoroughly searched, photographed, and evidence was collected. District Attorney Lauren Anderson said in court Thursday, obvious signs of neglect and abuse were observed, including soiled children's clothing, soiled carpeting, blood, and along with partially empty soup and fruit cans that had a tiny hole cut in them. Williams had used her computer to search for information about starvation and malnourishment, prosecutors said in court. And that was one of the comments that someone had left in the thread that was posted on Twitter when I saw this article, and they said that she used her computer to do that. I said, yeah, that's a common thing that people will use when they're trying to get rid of somebody, or they're trying to find a way to get rid of them without it looking too messy. The problem is that she did it on the internet, and apparently she didn't clear her browsing history. She just entered all that stuff in and didn't clear it, or she didn't use like maybe the incognito mode where it wouldn't be that much of a trace. But you know, with the extra technology they have, you can pretty much find anything. It's really not much that you can do to hide this kind of material from the proper authorities, especially when they have a case against you. Williams had reported Taylor missing from their apartment in Jacksonville on November 6, 2019, prompting authorities to launch a massive search for the little girl. As our community has shown over the past few days, there's a lot of love for Taylor here, even those who have never even met her. And we want you to know that we will do whatever we can to bring her home. Former FBI Jacksonville Assistant Director Rachel Rojas told Action News Jax at the time. Body cam footage released by police showed a highly distraught Williams crying and shaking as she told an officer that Taylor was nowhere to be found. On Thursday in court, Williams appeared emotionless. On November 6, 2019, she told the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office that she woke up and found the back door unlocked with Taylor nowhere to be found. A week later, Taylor's badly decomposed body was found in a rural area of Alabama, stuffed in a garbage bag and buried in a shallow grave. Hold on. So she took her body all the way to another state. That's crazy. She took her whole body to another state to be disposed of. She wasn't even in Florida with her. They said they found her buried in a shallow grave. Authorities said she had died months before her remains were even found. Williams faces a minimum of 20 years to life in prison. They just need to give her life. Take the minimum off. Give her the whole life imprisonment. Her attorney did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. Now I had to pause it right quick, and I ended up coming across this part right here because this story got even more crazy or even more wild. Now I had to reach back a little bit to the year that this actually occurred and pull this up because this is a very intricate part of the story. So you see it says right here, woman who helped Brianna Williams move stunned to learn the child is dead. Now this is the woman right here. Her name is Tiffany Nicole, and all she was with her husband helping Brianna move. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this audio. It's a news clip from the same website, and I want you to listen to the details behind this and how this whole story just kind of spiraled into what it is now.
Station News 4 Jax starts now.
Movers questioned in the disappearance of Taylor Rose Williams share their concerns After learning DNA tests confirmed the girl's remains were found in rural Alabama. The case stretched from Brentwood to Jacksonville's South Side, all the way to western Alabama.
The Amber Alert for Taylor Williams is now officially canceled. The girl's mother, Brianna Williams, remains in Duval County Jail on felony charges of child neglect and providing false information to police. She reported her daughter missing November 6th. That triggered a massive search. Just days before, she had hired a couple of women to help her move to her new home on Ivy Street in Brentwood. News for Jax reporter Janice Harris talked with one of the movers who was stunned to learn the girl died. Janice?
Kent, that is correct. Tiffany Nicole actually talked with us in the beginning when police were searching for the 5-year-old girl. But I talked again tonight with Tiffany Nicole, and she told me that this woman, Brianna, was acting very odd when she was helping her move. These two women, Brianna Williams and Tiffany Nicole, met through a Craigslist request. Williams wanted to hire someone to help her move. The price, $250. Tiffany Nicole and her fiance went to an apartment here on the South Side. This is where Williams and her daughter Taylor lived. As Tiffany Nicole and her fiance moved boxes, she says Brianna told her that there was a child in the home, but Tiffany wasn't so sure.
She had mentioned to my fiance, he said that she had a daughter in the bathroom, and he heard water running, but again, never saw or heard a child.
Nicole said Williams stayed in the back room of the apartment, not saying much. Nicole described the apartment as disgusting. When everything was loaded up, they came to this house in Brentwood. Nicole said that's when things became a little more bizarre.
That's when she was really weird for me, because she went straight from her car to the back of this like concrete 2-car garage type thing and just sat in the back.
Once the move was done, Williams paid $50 more than expected. Now that Nicole knows something suspicious was happening, she believes Williams tried to set up her and her fiancé for missing Taylor Rose, because days later, police called her. Nicole is saddened that the little girl she never saw is dead. She hopes the killer will be found.
She had her whole life ahead of her, and it's sad that it was cut short by some scumbag, whoever they were. And then to continue and lie or hide and not come forth what had happened is even more sad.
And so far, no one has been charged with murder or arrested for murder despite the confirmation of the remains. JSO tells us that Brianna Williams is not cooperating with police, but she'll be back in court for her arraignment on December 4th. Reporting live from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Janice Harris, Channel 4, the local station.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there. And like I said, I had to reach back a little bit. So if it sounded like it was past tense, that's because it was. And she said, and it's crazy that this woman, Tiffany Nicole, says, I hope they catch this scumbag, not realizing that the scumbag that they were catching was the same one who put that ad on Craigslist and paid you and your fiance $250, well now $300, because she gave her an extra $50 to help her move. She had no idea that she was literally standing and talking to the person who was responsible for the death of her own daughter. Could you imagine if you were standing in front of a person that killed their own child or killed anyone? Like, that would blow my mind figuring that out. And you see what she was trying to do. They said she was trying to set her and her fiance up to basically, I guess, take the fall for it. She's doing all of this knowing she just killed or had her daughter killed. Well, not had her daughter. She did it. That's some wild stuff right there. I want them to bury her under the entire judicial system. Like, dig that thing up, put her under it, and just throw the dirt back on her and just slam that thing shut. That's what this woman right here, that's what she deserves more than anything. Like I said, I hate when I have to do stories like this that involves people taking out their kids or taking out kids, period. And she was in the Navy. That's wild. And I'm sure there's probably some more additional information too, but I didn't want to go way too deep into it. But I said I couldn't let this part pass up. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Make sure you hit that bell to be notified every time I upload a new video or go live.